What's up, Duke fans? Welcome to the Devil's Den podcast. I'm your host, Josh Smith, joined by co-host Raul and Shu. We're recording this after Duke just beat Cal 71-56 to start, I guess, the first leg of our West Coast trip here. We'll kind of get into that a little bit, talk about the game, just some overall general thoughts, get into that. We'll talk a little bit of maybe chop it up about the league as we're, about 5 games in. Kind of get a little global takeaway there. Then we'll preview Stanford a little bit, and then I guess we'll get out of here. Fellas, as we start, first off, just kind of global takeaway from you all, first time kind of coming into this gym, like 11-18 tip here, which is, it was brutal for me. I know it was brutal for the guys. I mean, spoiler, I think this for me was like one of the more impressive kind of performances that we've done, given the score, the defense, the everything in it. But before we get into the nuances here, fellas, just your first thought about going and playing the Bears. Bears.
I mean, I thought the environment was pretty cool. It's it's a kind of, at least to me, it felt like small and compact, and that was kind of cool. I don't really have like a lot else to say about it. It was a little bit surreal just because you're not seeing Duke play a road game in California in January ever, right? So we have to get used to this. But yeah, I mean, and obviously the late tip kind of sucked. The UNC game ran over into our game, so that wasn't great either. I mean, the outcome of that was cool, but the fact that I had to DVR it because it was so late, and that my DVR starts literally 8 minutes into the game. To watch the beginning of it, I had to go to watch ESPN. So it's like I'm doing 2 apps just to watch the game on a replay. So that kind of sucked. But yeah, I don't know. Just what time did the game actually end? Like 1:32?
Oh man, it was like 1:40 something or 1:38, 1:36.
Yep.
So it was late.
Yeah, it was late. Yeah, it was 2:00 before.
It's pretty brutal.
Sleep, at least.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, it was cool seeing just a new stadium. We've never been there, and we had a lot of Duke fans. Obviously, there's Duke fans anywhere we go. Celebrities courtside. Ken Jong was there. Obviously, Seth Curry
Scottie Pippen, obviously too.
I should have mentioned those guys.
Yes, Scottie Pippen's there. So all in all, that was cool. Just kind of getting that new experience. Wasn't real sure what to expect, as you kind of pointed out. I think I said in the ACC preview this was like a low key game that I was worried about, because Cal's not, they're not a terrible team. Obviously, they were, I think, hovering around 50th in Ken Palm for a while.
Yep.
And again, like you mentioned, like just playing out there so late, like your body's just we're not used to that kind of stuff. So, but hey, you never know in the tournament. You can always get one of those late tips if you get sent out west too. So you got to be ready to play at any time. But overall, impressive win, especially with the way we just kind of flurried it to finish.
Yeah, I mean, we can put the box score here in a minute, but like, it was a bit weird. I was telling my wife, like, this is the ACC Atlantic Coast Conference, and here we are going out here to play Cal and Stanford. But it's cool. I was actually kind of impressed. I thought they were pretty good. Like, I thought they played pretty well. All that stuff. I see you got the death row record behind you, the Dr. Dre. So a little California love for them. Been watching the Puff, the Diddy documentary too. So a little East West Coast. So probably not the best time to be repping Bad Boy right now. But yeah, on that note, we should probably get into the game, fellas, here a little bit. So I guess we'll just start with the big fella, man. I mean, Mr. Consistent, Mr. Reliable here. Cam had another game where he didn't start this game well at all. And despite that, though, like, Duke actually somehow found a way to not, I mean, I guess they didn't start well, but they didn't start terribly compared to what we've seen over some of the stretch. Now that they did find themselves in a 13-7 hole there a little bit, but Cam really thought bounced back, played a huge second half. What do you have, 17-10 after the break, finishes with 21-13. And I mean, I'm starting, I don't know about how y'all are, but I'm starting to already just like, you're just kind of shrugging that off a little bit, right? It's just like, oh, it's just what he does. It's just what, but it's not what people do, though, really. Like, it's not what most people do. It's just come in and continually put up these type of numbers. how impressed have y'all been with Cam, man? Because it's not anything that's like super unobtainable, like some kind of freakish thing. Like you can watch Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa and some of the things, or even Caleb Wilson, like some of the moves and things, but the link that they're doing, it's like, oh, okay, like that's not unlocked for most people. But Cam just kind of workhorses you, dude, and just kind of grinds you down. I mean, I don't know, man. Just we're about 17 games in here, 18 games in. Kind of, how impressed are you with Cam Boozer on January 15th?
I mean,
go ahead, shoot.
I mean, for me, it's like a golfer that you say has all the shots. Like this guy can take you inside and can play in the paint, can step outside, put a little dribble between his legs, pull up threes. Like he can do almost anything. And I mean, this game, especially in the second half, I think he kind of set the tone right out of the gate. The very first possession of the second half he just goes right into dude's chest, bullies him right to the rim, and kind of just did that the entire second half. Like whatever he wanted to do, he did. And there's just no way to stop him. I mean, 17 and 10 in a single half, that's, it's not what people will get that for a game, not in 20 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, he hasn't had a single game since Florida where he shot under 50% from the field. So that's what, I think it's 7 or 8 games since then. So, and even that one, he's 10 of 21. So it's not horrible, right? He really hasn't had a bad game from the field since that opening game against Texas. And you're like, okay, he's a freshman. It's literally his first college game, right? So you'll give that a pass. So just the consistency of efficiency is just crazy. The other thing I was going to mention is I feel like he often gets better as the game goes on, where he has these slow starts. He might even have a first half where he only scores 2 points, 4 points, whatever. And then in the second half, it's just like he figures out what the defense is doing and like where he can get his points and just wears the other team down. And I think we kind of have to credit like both Duke's strength and conditioning, but also Cam's own conditioning, right? Like, I just feel like he never looks tired. Like he has to be tired at points. Like, he's playing 35
minutes. Yeah, he's playing heavy minutes. That's a good point. Now I know that in this game, I think he didn't play a ton here. Like, right. Well, I mean, he still played the most of anyone, but a lot of these games, he's like 37, 38, 36. Like it's a constant, which is a lot to ask for a 18-year-old big guy freshman to come in and do that, man. It is impressive. And I think too, like I thought earlier in the year it was good, and then it kind of really fell off, or it was getting targeted for a while, and like positionally we weren't really figuring that out. But I'm thinking like the defense is really starting to come back around for him too. And for me, it's like I've been thinking about it, and it's like, all of the scenarios of like, was it Caden or is it Foster, or like is Evans going to be the alpha, or can you get it between Dom? And I keep coming back to like, well, really the easiest probably way for Duke to maintain this eliteness or to, to cut down the nets is probably just for Cam to become or to remain like a stable, consistent, elite two-way guy. Yeah. Right? It's just to be that guy, man, because he's going to play the most. And if he can play some, now he wasn't like a lockdown defender, but I thought his defense was really good considering he had no fouls in this game too. Like to play that well of defense without fouling is something that we need, and it's something that really hasn't been there for us at the level that I think that John wants lately too. So seeing a boost on that end is nice to see as well.
Yeah, I thought this was his best defensive game since Michigan State, probably. Right after Michigan State is when the team's defense kind of started slipping, and like we mentioned, a fair part of that, not all of it, but a fair part of that was Cam. So just to see him get to not really getting, attacked off the dribble as much and exploited as much was just really good. Some of that could be the matchup too, but I just thought he didn't look like there were some games in there where he looked like a little bit of a liability on that end. You don't want to come down too hard on him because he's doing everything for us on offense, but if he is going to be out there that much, he needs to at least be like a net neutral defender, if not positive.
Yeah. And I know some of it is, they've been trying to figure out Caden too, and we're really kind of seeing that fluctuate a little bit, and
it goes back and forth every game, right? It's like one game it'll be Caleb playing 15 minutes and Caden playing 30. The next game it's Caleb playing 30 and Caden playing 15, like this one. Literally just they flip minutes in these last two games.
Yeah. And maybe that's just going to be the way it is. Yep. I know later on we're going to talk a little bit about, we can talk about it now, whatever, but the lineup, combination that coach has mentioned and that he keeps continuing to trot out. And maybe it really is just going to be just truly matchup dependent. Now you hear that a lot, like you hear that all the time. But it usually really only kind of refers to like maybe some how you want to substitute or like how you want to kind of do some certain type of things here. Maybe your 7th and 8th guys gets roles with reversed or whatever. But we're really looking at like, oh no, it's like 2 or 3 guys that have pretty kind of like stable, this is what they're going to do. And everything else has kind of just been pretty fluid so far this year. And maybe that's just what it's going to be. And you're just going to hope that you can push the right buttons and X and O your way through each game and not get caught doing it. But I don't know that that's a bad thing necessarily, but
I was going to say it's good to have versatility, right?
Yeah.
The fact that we have 2 bigs like Gongba and Malik Brown that are so different, I think is valuable. The fact that you have, guards like Caleb Foster and Caden who have their own individual strengths and weaknesses, I think that's valuable too. You're going to have consistency, I think, from Cam and Isaiah Evans are going to be like your rocks there. And then Dame Sarr and Haminia have been kind of going back and forth too in terms of like who's getting the start, who's getting the most minutes, all that. So it's nice to just have like almost 2 looks at every position.
Yeah, a lot of versatility. And something too, I want to go back before I know we're about to switch gears here and talk about somebody else, but going back to just the Cam and the Boozer thing, I think, credit a little bit to the staff and to the players. They got to make the plays, but like we've been really kind of running a lot of stuff to help Cam in some of the post actions. Like earlier in the year, we were pretty content to just kind of give him the ball and let him like turn over his shoulder and just kind of look and make a play. We're still doing that. Like, and depending on the coverages that are there, but we also like, especially in this game, the last 2 really have really started doing a lot of quick hitting high-low stuff to just get him the ball. And credit to Cam, man, he has been elite at like catching and making a read. Like you go to the SMU game, that the play where Caleb throws it to Dame, taps it to Malik, and he's got to catch that, like navigate 2 bodies and get it up. Like this game against Cal, man, how many did he catch and like goes down? And it's like he's not like verticality wise where some of that stuff you think would just get swatted, but he's just finishing that stuff, man. So shouts to him, but like also credit to the staff too for really getting things moving. But I mean, Malik and Pat and Dame, they got to make those passes, and so credit to them too. But
I mean, it seemed like we wanted to get the ball in the paint. I think we outscored them 42-16 points in the paint. So we were really trying to pound it inside, and then Cam on the glass. He's not Marvin Bagley with like an incredible second jump, but like he knows when he releases a shot that if it's going to miss on the other, where it's going to go. And he just gets in there and gets it again.
But like every paint shot he misses, it feels like he gets it almost, man. Like it's like even 9 of 16 doesn't feel impressive. Like that feels like bad for a Cam Boozer game. Really, right. That's crazy.
Yeah, and a couple of those were his own misses, of course. So really, like if we're breaking it down by possessions, it's it's better than it looks because it's like he probably there's a couple just where he cleaned up his own miss there. The team as a whole has 16 offensive rebounds, and that was a huge difference in this game, the rebounding, because we didn't shoot well from 3, but neither did Cal. We didn't shoot well from the free throw line. Cal did because that's what they do. And we didn't get to the free throw line a ton either. We only took 17 attempts, which is pretty low for us. So really it was the offensive rebounding and then the percentage in the paint there we shot like 70% on twos. So we must have been amazing at the rim.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 for 6 for dunks.
A lot of dunks in this game too, man. Like there was a clear emphasis. The last few games too, like Pat, ever since the benching happened, like that dude has been just hammering stuff too. Like he's been finishing ferocious. Slim, the guy we're going to talk about next, with the little like spin move, 2-hand, 2-foot. Like even Caleb, almost like
Caleb got his first dunk.
Barely did it. Like
that's his first dunk, right?
I think so, man. But
I don't.
him's going up. Malik's been above the rim guy lately, man. Like Cam was finishing strong. It was point of emphasis.
That was a Steph Curry style dunk from Caleb there.
Oh yeah,
maybe it was because Steph was in the crowd where you just barely get over.
Little JJ,
rim grazer, rim grazer.
Yeah. So that was nice to see, man. But let's talk about Slim. I think that's a guy that we really have to start to track here. Since that Texas Tech game, I mean, he's been Showtime. It's been Showtime. It's 17 or more in every one of those. We've been talking about like, can Duke find that second guy? It's pretty clearly him. Like it's clearly him. The aggression is there. Like in the 3 out of the last 4 games, he's shot double-digit for threes. Like he's really getting the volume up there too. He's punishing teams if they're overplaying for the 3. Like I thought that little like driving the lane with the wraparound pass to Pat was like, that was nice, man. Man, Slim's playing. I thought this was his best defensive game too, man. I thought he was like everywhere defensively. He was like breaking up stuff in the lane. He was blocking shots. Shouts to Slim, man. As a two-way guy, he's really starting to bloom a little bit, man.
What was that run we had to finish the first half? I think we were down 26-30, and we finished the half.
We were down 24-30, actually. So yeah,
okay,
13-0 run, 13-0 run,
13-0 run, and I think Slim hit 2 threes and had that dunk all in that. That little run there. Now I would say 17 points. I think he hit that 17 mark with around 12 minutes to go. He didn't score after that. Although
he cooled off for sure.
We kind of pulled away. We didn't really need him to, but I would have liked for him to keep searching for that 20
because we did still kind of need it for a little while there, right?
For a little while,
it got back down to like 41-39 or something, and it was like okay, it was still.
Look at his plus minus versus the rest of the team there.
Oh
besides Amenya,
he came out and like immediately John had to be like, "Yep, get back in there, dude." Because once he starts doing that in a half, like especially if it's the first half, it really does just start to scare you defensively on the other end, and it changes. Now he missed some shots there too. I mean, went 4-13, but like what he was doing, just most of them are just you're good with that. You're good with it. Some of the ones that he made were the ones that you're like, don't probably take those, and those are the ones that dropped for him. So it's like you're fine. For me, I'll live with any of it as long as he's continuing to be that active defensively and just digging down on screens and digging down in the passing lane, breaking up plays. Just Slim.
Yeah, I thought he got switched on Ames a time or two and like really, put the defensive lamps on.
Competed for it. Yeah.
And he hit yet another one of those left side flare screen ones in the second half there. That was actually a big 3. That was his last 3 of the game, I believe.
That was it.
And it gave us a little separation. I thought that was big because, at that point, Cal was within like 3 points or something. So it just gave us a little wiggle room.
Yeah. Man. And he's been automatic at the line. I know he missed the one too. We can talk about free throws too, but the play or early in the second half, like that little where he curls in and catches and gets the and one there, just to kind of start us out a little bit too, man. Yeah, Slim's cooking. So hopefully that can continue a little bit here as the shot diet continues to creep up. Hopefully the percentages might start to pop. Because again, man, it's another game where I'm still kind of waiting for that like just sensational type game, right? Like
6 threes, almost 7 threes.
Yeah, it's like a 35 piece where it's just like dude is like a 40, like dude is just cooking, like one of those where if he's gonna shoot 13 threes, he hits like 10 of them, just gets on like a heater, just something crazy. I don't know if we'll see that, but I'm waiting on him for it, man. I'm waiting for it. But
he's getting up.
I mean, we predicted it to happen at least once, earlier in the season.
Oh yeah, did we say he was going to set the record? We might have said that.
I think we were pretty bullish on Cam Boozer breaking the rebound record, single game rebound record, and then Slim hitting maybe a 40 piece or more. I can't remember exactly how we phrased it.
Well, they both got a lot of work to do on that.
Yeah.
Cam in the exhibition games was looking like 20 rebounds would be easy for him, but
right.
So far he's been more in that like 10 to 13 range kind of consistently.
Still really well, like still, really good, but not like otherworldly or anything like like you might have thought. But we can kind of move it along here a little bit, fellas, for a second time. I think a guy we should talk about and mention the California love. Got to give some shout out to Nick going back home. I thought this was probably the best that he's played since that Michigan State game, right? Like since he was able to kind of really come back, and he started to do that a little bit recently. He's kind of maybe finding himself again.
I thought he was good in the SMU game as well.
Yeah, the SMU game he was good too. When he's active, when he's like really crashing like rebounds and really just running the floor hard and just locking in, things seem to just happen for him, man. He starts out, as soon as he comes in, he's involved in like a hustle play, and it's like then the three gets unlocked for him a little bit more. He finishes the drive, and he's just tough, just a tough kid, man. Competitor, competes. Every time he does something, like you like it because he's just like super animated kind of guy too, man. Like just love the kid. So shouts to Nick. I thought Dame's got a lot of flowers lately, and rightfully so. Probably get some tonight here as well too, but. Good to see kind of Nick also starting to come back around a little bit. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think the wing position was definitely an area of concern for us, even just as recently as like 3 or 4 games ago, where we're just like, we're not getting any consistency from Dame and Nick, and like Isaiah's not quite where we want him to be either, or where we expected. But Isaiah's obviously blossomed in ACC play. Then you throw in Nick and Dame both having like 2 good games in a row here, I think. I mean, Dame, you'd look at it and say, he shot 2 of 7, but I still thought he had a good game. Just in terms of his defensive impact. I thought he'd make a couple of really nice passes as well. So I'm just feeling encouraged by the trend with those 3 guys.
Yeah. I mean, it's giving you a nice little wing combo, at least, even if you're having to piece them together. But go ahead, Shu.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Day, I mean, he came in averaging 17 points per game, and Dame took that to heart. I think he ended up with 8. Every one of those were, those were the 8 that he got were tough.
A lot of them were late too. A lot of it was like later in the game. I don't think there was hardly any first half action going there. So
and even Pippen, holding him under his season average too. That we did a good job with their guards. We didn't let anybody go off on us.
Yeah, dude, Dame is real. I mean, he's up there. Like when him, I don't know who I like watching play defense more between him or Malik, man. It's different and like what Malik is doing and like how he's trying. But dude, when Dame is really like after you, like you saw it, right? Like he's like diving on the floor, blowing the ball up, like really getting out. And he's going to give you some of those like, to me, it's almost like, this is a crazy reference, but if you ever seen like D2 Mighty Ducks, like the kid that can't stop. Like, that's Dame a little bit, man. Like, he's got to learn how to use the brakes. Like, he's on the fast break, and it's like, hey, you either got to pull that back or you got to go up way early for a dunk attempt that you're never going to be able to finish and just take the foul. Like, you can't. And he's done that a couple times this year, too, where it's like the feet, the mind, the drill. It's not all quite caught up to him yet, man.
So there was that one in transition.
Yeah, well, I think he got the boot after that and didn't come back in. When he went 1 on 5.
Yeah, he did.
And you can see John telling him, I mean, he's literally, it's him and the entire Bears team. But there was one play where Dame was checking the guy with the ball, and Malik ended up switching off of him right before the shot clock, and it was Campbell. He hit probably one of the craziest shot, like turnaround, but it was one of the best defensive possessions we had. He just happened to hit a crazy shot to bail him out there at the last second.
Of course.
Yeah, I would say Dame defensively is more like a warrior or something where Malik is more like a magician. Like, I don't even know how he does what he does. Like, he doesn't look like he's trying at all, right? He just looks like he's really casual out there, and he just kind of like wills the ball to be like poked away. Whereas Dame, it's like pure hustle. Dame's diving on the floor all the time too. I really love that. Like, every time there's an opportunity for a loose ball, he's the guy diving.
Yeah, that's I like that comparison too. I mean, Malik is, to continue with the pop culture references here a little bit. Like, we just finished watching Welcome to Derry, and so like Dick Halloran from The Shining is one of the characters in there, and he can like read your mind basically. Like, that's what Malik is trying to do. Like, he is looking and waiting for you to be like, all right, like this dude's gonna rip through, and as soon as you do, like my hand's gonna be boom, like right the Florida game too. Like that, he is so just cerebral with it, like hands down, just picking his spots. Where Dame is much more kind of the Energizer Bunny version of that kind of.
Malik will like hard hedge like 30 feet out with his arms flat down and somehow get a steal, and you're like, how did that happen?
It's like he's baiting them in, like, I'm not paying attention to what you're trying to do, and then all of a sudden
well, okay. I know we talked about some of the wings a little bit. Another guy I do want to at least give a shout out to is Big Pat, man. I thought this was another good game for him. I think he's just continued to be really steady and solid for us. And I know he got benched there for a little bit, but this guy's finishing around the rim is so elite that we should probably try to get him even more looks, really. I think he's shooting like 73% from two. And I think that goes up to like 78%, like from the rim. And it's like, that's a guy that we should probably get some more. And we credit to us, we really have been activating him a little bit more on the lobs. We're starting to tap into the little, like our money play from last year, except Cam's operating in the short roll. And, you have Malik or Pat coming over, the infamous, you would have Con and Coop would catch in the short roll. And, that we're starting to maybe get to that even a little bit. So bringing that back. But Pat's been really good, man. He's been really good. He's been really solid for us. And I don't think he's maybe getting quite enough credit because he's playing against a guy who's about to put up the best season in Duke history if this continues. So I don't know. It's going to be tough. But, shouts to Pat, man.
I'm going to need him to be a little bit more consistent from the free throw line. Because we've seen games
That's the one.
We've seen games where he goes like 8 of 8 from the line. 10 of 10, and then he'll have another game where like this where he goes 2 of 5.
He literally just went 5 of 6 against SMU. It's like, come on, man.
And he misses the front end of a 1-and-1 in this game as well. It's like those are the ones that you can't miss.
He was 10 of 11 against Niagara. I don't really understand. He was 73% on the season last year. Like, I don't get exactly.
Well, I think Slim in one of the post game interviews talked about them not liking the ball,
the Wilson ball.
He did.
He's like, we like our Nike ball or whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't Wilson though, was it? Was it? Wilson?
It was a Spalding. I think it was a Spalding ball.
No, I look at. We don't argue. I definitely watched the thing. It's called Wilson.
Oh, it's the Evolution.
Evolution, yeah.
He said Evolution or something. I think. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Anyway, nice dive there, but. So maybe that's a thing of it too, but it's like, come on, I don't really. I mean, we've seen that happen a couple of times. I mean, we played Lipscomb at home, right, using our Nike ball or whatever, and we've had issues there across the board too. So maybe it is, but gonna need Pat to be better there. Gonna need the whole team to really be better there after thinking that we had kind of figured that out a little bit. Clearly, I mean, everyone's looking at the percentages there. 8 for 17 is just not going to get it done. You cannot shoot sub 50%. You can't shoot sub 60, but you sure as hell can't shoot sub 50 from the line, man. And that
I don't know if the stat's still true, but I know at one point, nobody had ever won a title shooting less than 73% as a team. And this was up to a couple years ago. So
because you're looking at the team, and it's like, man, there's really no reason. Especially in a game, and I hate to say that, but in a game where Malik Brown and Caleb Foster shoot 0 free throws, like and we're still sub 50%. Like, whoa, that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Like, Cameron Boozer should be a good free throw shooter, and he has been. For the most part, he has been fine. He has moments, but like, yeah, Pat's got to be there. Slim, it's hard to say much because he's been so good from there, but one of three can't happen. He's got to be a guy that's closer to that 90% range.
Yeah, I mean, he'd only missed one in ACC play before this game, so kind of maybe give him a little bit of pass there. It's really just the inconsistency, because even I'm pulling up the ACC stats, and we're 72% from the line in ACC play. That's not terrible. It's just the fact that like one game will be like 60%, and then the next game will be 80. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we'll see if they can find some consistency. I guess for sake of time, we can kind of move on here. I did want to at least do like a little bit of some kind of just global takes here. I think one, we didn't have it on the outline, but man, it's starting to feel like, and we've said this from the summer. It's starting to feel like too we're starting to find the rotation a little bit. You hate to say it, but it's starting to look like maybe Darren is finally maybe getting phased out there a little bit. We've talked about the wings coming up. I mean, fellas, are we getting to our 8 is enough here with Darren maybe as a break case, break in case of emergency type thing? It seems like that's what we're looking at as, if you're going to have to get Nick and Dame both a lot of minutes, Caden's still going to be there. Where y'all at with that in terms of kind of the outlook for Darren on this season?
It feels like unless there's an injury, he's not going to play much. I mean, he plays 2 minutes and 45 seconds in this game, a game that Duke won by 15. He got in the first half. I will say that Shire does try to put him in early sometimes, but he was not good when he was in there. He wasn't holding up defensively, and he's, not taking shots either. So he has zeros across the board in those 3 minutes. Like, you got to, I know it's only 3 minutes, but you got to get up a 3 or something, right?
Yeah,
like,
and you're minus
not a good enough defender to, to offset it.
You're -7 in 3 minutes. That's pretty brutal. That's pretty brutal. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of just agree with that. I noticed when he was in the game, I'm like, I wanted him to take a shot. Now I don't want him to force anything, but there was some that I thought, you might have been able to let one of those go that he passed up. But yeah, like you guys, I mean, that's what you're out here for. And if you can't do that, it can't, what are you bringing?
Yeah, we'll see, man. Not to bring us down a little bit, but I think it's kind of, it's always a little funny to me too in the off season how everyone's predicting 10, 11, 12 deep and all of this stuff. And
no, it's always like 8 at the most, really. When you get
that's
right
usually just the ideal number, man. It's the ideal number for college basketball. It's what NBA teams get to in the playoffs. If 7 sometimes, like 7 or 8 is what they do. It's just the way it is. But all right, let's pan around a little bit and just kind of do some league chatter, I guess here, or maybe not so much league chatter, but wanted to talk a little bit just about the stereotype around this team or the feeling around this team, fellas. Like, it seems like we went from this place of like Duke being very, very dominant and talked about early in the year to now it's like almost like some kind of fringe 2 seed, 1 seed. Like, how good are they? They're just kind of floating around here. We've played more quad 1 games than any other team in the nation. We've won more quad 1 games than the other team in the nation. We're sitting here with 1 loss, and it's a game that we definitely should have won. You're up 17 against Texas Tech, who credit they've looked pretty good.
1 point loss.
Yeah, you're right there, and then you're undefeated, and it's like, okay, well, Michigan's dropping games, and I love Jeff Goodman. He's came on the podcast. I hope he continues to come on the podcast. But like it was like, but they're just bored, and it's like, well, the feeling and the sensation and the chatter around Duke though has not been that, right? And so it's like, okay, well that's a bit interesting to me. But I mean, fellas, should we be higher on this Duke team? Or should the fan base or the attention? It just feels like they're just still everyone's like walking on eggshells from like what happened at the end of last year, and it's like, well, this team can't overcome that, right? This team could win a title, and a part of me is still going to be sitting there like, damn, we should have had back-to-back.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it's going to be for last year. That's just what it was, what it is. But this team can't really change that, but it feels like they're having to answer for it in some kind of way. I don't know. Just something to toss to you all for that. But.
Well, I mean, the Michigan thing, they got looked at the way they got looked at because they were just, beating.
They've been on a heater for like a month.
Yeah, they were beating the brakes off of people and decent teams too. I think they beat Gonzaga by like 40.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get that, but yeah, I mean, look, we saw Iowa State. They went to Allen Fieldhouse. I think they got like 20 piece by that Kansas team
from the whole way, like early on, the whole way. They got BTA the whole time. I mean,
right. Vanderbilt, Texas just took them out, so they're not undefeated anymore. I mean, there's some teams that we've been bunched up with, but I don't think have been getting as much credit maybe as what you're trying to say, especially after having the most quad one wins. I think we're 2 wins more than anybody else. I think everybody else has like 5, and we're at 7 right now.
Yeah. We were at 8 briefly, but SMU fell just outside the top 30 there, so they could maybe get back in.
Sure.
I mean, they had a half-court shot to win their game the other night, so that's going to bring you down a little bit, right? So,
poor Virginia Tech. I don't know if you guys have seen; they've just been crushed by last-second shots this season.
3 out of their last 4 games. All by really good guards too. It shows you the value of having a guard who can make shots off the dribble, which is it's fair to question Duke's ability to do that, right? Like, as amazing as a shooter as Isaiah Evans is, he's not just going to like shake and bake you. Caleb can do that sometimes, but it's up and down from game to game. Caden's a freshman who's not playing a ton, so but to your point, Josh, it's like I see the same thing not just from the media but from the fan base too, and I wonder if it's just like you said, a reaction to just how dominant they were last year. But people are mostly remembering the last few months of last year too. I think when they think about last year's team, because last year's team had 2 non-conference losses. It's not like they were just this juggernaut, to start out. It's just like once they got into conference and Cooper really got rolling and Kahn really got rolling, that's when they ripped off a ton of wins.
And the conference was weak last year too.
Weak as hell, right? And the conference is pretty damn good this year. And
it's way better.
Yep. And Duke right now is 5-0 in conference, 7 quad one wins, only 1 total loss. The resume at this same point in the year is far better than it was last year. And so I just see a lot of like hand wringing. And yes, like the defense has slipped recently with the exception of this Cal game, which hopefully is turning things around to the right, to where we were earlier in the year. But like this team there's a value in finding a way to win, right? Like there's something to this team, this ability to close out games and to like manage possessions down the stretch that I don't think last year's team had.
Do you think it's all right, we're projected to beat Georgia Tech or Vegas, had us by 26 or something. We win by 4 or 8, whatever it was, like,
that's is part of it? Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say mostly that game and the FSU game, I would think.
FSU,
right. Yeah. Because I don't think the SMU game is like viewed that negatively maybe by the media. And then Louisville, we cover pretty comfortably. Cal, we cover pretty comfortably. So
SMU maybe only because Boopy didn't play,
Yeah, and that's became a little bit of a thing too, right? Like you get SMU, you get Louisville, you get Kansas, all without their, and that's something that like, it's annoying. Like you kind of laugh it off when you hear it, but how I process it as a fan though is I am like, I think I might be okay. It's hard to say this now, but I don't want to be sitting here in April or May being like, dang, 14-3 would have been okay if it would have meant that we would have had to figure out how to guard and defend an explosive heady guard because you just got torched by Mikel Brown, Darren Peterson, or whatever, but Miller.
Well, we got one of those coming up.
You get one coming up against Stanford, so we're gonna get into that too. So I hope that
flip side, we guarded Fears. Fears didn't do anything again.
But Fears not a scorer either.
He's not a scorer, right?
You don't have to play him for that. And so you get to find out, and I guess that's our best segue of let's talk about the Stanford game a little bit. So while we were death clawing our way to midnight, waiting for Duke to play, we did at least get to see Stanford pull off a pretty remarkable little kind of clutch last 4 or 5 minutes there to take down North Carolina. So you get to see that. I think that's the second time in a row. It's like a year in a row that Stanford has beat them in the last year. Jalen Blitz, right?
Jalen for the win.
OJB. So you get that. I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse coming in to play them. You had to kind of feel like they would get one of us. Are they going to get both of us? I don't know how
they got Louisville.
Okorie, I mean, did Okorie instill enough fear in you to? I mean, is he gonna chip on the shoulder? I'm the best freshman on the floor. MFer, I mean, where you at with that coming in? Because I watched that game and he busted he busted them boys up.
Well, look, he's not just one of the best freshmen. He's like one of the best players in the country. One of the best guards in the country. I mean, I'm just looking at KenPom here, 125 offensive rating as a freshman. A guard with heavy usage is ridiculous. 23% assist rate, 58% true shooting. He doesn't shoot the three great, but he gets to the free throw line a ton and he makes his free throws. And
that UNC from three, boy, he was hitting some step back. He was doing whatever he wanted to against them.
All of them were, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of been a trend that people are just teeing up on Carolina from three the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think opponents are shooting 43% against Carolina from three in conference, which is a big reason they're 2-2 and why people are putting up 85 points per game against them. So. And that was happening to Duke a little bit too, but to be fair, but
I mean, Stanford hit 16 of 28 threes against Carolina. Yeah.
I mean, I think for me too, we were talking about our free throws, but we have been good about getting to the line. But when you're looking at a game like this, man, this kid has shot double-digit free throws in over a third of the games that they played. Like that, he's had a game where he shot 21 free throws. And he made 18 of them. He just made 9 of 11 against Carolina. He made 8 of 10 against Louisville. You let this dude do that, and it could be a long night for you. A long nightcap out there on the West Coast. He's already getting some comps to Damian Lillard, from an efficiency numbers metric standpoint, and the viewing product is pretty damn close to that too, man. It's I'm not trying to say we're going to go in there and be scared, but I don't think that we've had to play and defend a guard like that yet. That I don't know. Have we? I mean, y'all tell me. Maybe Florida's backcourt, but they were floundering when we played them a little bit, right? They hadn't quite figured it out, and they still have had some issues with that too, with consistency between Lee and Flan and all that, man. I don't know. I think this is probably the best guard that we play. I think so.
I mean, not having played Boopy, I think he's going to be the fastest one, and he's changes speed, changes directions. Got a lot of little tricks around the rim. I mean, he was taking it to that's the first game I've got to watch of him, and I was super impressed. What he also 9 assists and just 1 turnover. I mean,
I would say the only other guys you could maybe throw out there are Arkansas's guards. I thought were really good.
Acuff's really solid.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you're going to need good Caleb. You're going to need really good Caleb, and you're going to need really
good Duke defense, right?
Because you're going to have to get 8 minutes and figure out how you're going to really defend that.
Do you think we try to mix in some zone? I'm just worried about if we do. I mean, if they hit 16 threes, you don't want to just give them target practice. Shoot around.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I think you give Caleb a shot at it and see. I mean, he is a 6'2" freshman. You're hoping that a 6'5" junior who's a pretty good defender, and then I think you obviously you got Dame. You got Dame there to come in the second half or whenever you need him to, and just say, I need you to figure this out. And then you're throwing like a 6'8" dude, 6'7" dude with insane length out there on him. So I think we do have a lot of stuff like that because, you know, one of the takeaways of watching that game last night was like, ooh, Carolina's backcourt is not good at all. Like, their front court is insane. Like, I think they had 52 from those. So if you're watching that, it's like, okay, Cam and Pat, go eat. But yeah, their backcourt is just absolutely not. I mean, a lot of those guys do not look like ACC guards. I say that they'll beat us, but that's what it looked like last night. Their backcourt was just exposed a little bit.
Well, it's not just been last night, like we said.
Oh, that's true.
It's been a trend for them.
Yeah, had some issues.
Yeah, especially defensively. Like the perimeter defense for them, it just has not been there. You mentioned 16 threes versus Stanford, but they've given up like 14 threes in pretty much every Wake Forest as well hit 14, I believe. So you know, again, they managed to beat Wake and Florida State, but those two teams like shot fairly well against them as well. So like it's that to me, you know, and they haven't been like, they've been allowing a fairly high 2-point percentage as well. So that to me says like the perimeter pressure just isn't there. You know, that's kind of what I'm reading into from.
And that's what Stanford is missing their like second best player too, right? Like Okpara didn't play. I don't know if he'll be available
Saturday.
I think it was day to day. I think it was day to day, some kind of like a lower leg, lower extremity injury or something of that nature. So I don't know if he'll be available for when we play too. If not, that obviously gives us a massive advantage down there inside. You know, if you eliminate a guy like that, that's going to be a big miss for them. But yeah, I mean, despite all that, I mean, Ken Palm is still looking at this thing as a 10-point Duke win here. Fellas, I mean, you know, like how good are you feeling about leaving the West Coast with 2 dubs here? You know, I've heard a few different things that no team has done it. Then I've heard that Wake did it last year. Yeah. Was it a single trip? They went out and played both, beat both.
Yeah, I think that's the way that. Yeah, pretty sure that's the way they've been.
I think a lot of stuff has been said where no one has done it. And it's like, well, I feel like so is Duke going to join Wake then as the second team to pull it off?
I sure hope so. I wouldn't be surprised if they got called. I mean, Stanford's playing with a lot of confidence right now. They knocked off Louisville. They just knocked off Carolina. I think they've won three or four of their last like ranked games there at home. So, you know, they're going to be confident that they can do it. And obviously, the freshman kids coming in with a lot of confidence themselves.
Yeah, where are they at in the net now? Do you know?
They were I think 60 something.
Okay, so it would be a quad one. Yeah, okay. Yep. So a quad one road loss when you're already 5-0 in the ACC wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It'll be interesting to see, like, because when I'm looking up and down their roster, you know, he really is their offense. So it's like, I mean, they've got a couple good shooters, but you know, in Gaylor and Argawal, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think he hit like 6 threes against Carolina.
Yeah. But Okorie really is the offense, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, like, it's do you focus on shutting him down, or do you let him go for 28 and just make sure the other people don't light you up? Because what happened to UNC is they did neither, right? So you got to make a decision there, I think.
Yeah. I mean, UNC did nothing in the ball screen. I mean, they were getting. That was pretty brutal. Yeah. I mean, you know,
I don't want to overcorrect where we're just trying so hard to, you know, shut Okorie down that like we're just allowing wide open threes from the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's where you might have a real benefit of having the length that you have with Caleb, but also Dame too. I mean, you put those guys on there. That's a lot of length that you're throwing at him, and you're still able to keep size at the rim. You're still able to keep things there. And so I think that'll be something that we're going to do. I mean, obviously defending without fouling is going to be something that we've really tried to preach, that the staff obviously is really tried to preach. Everyone is too, right? But they've been really good at being able to execute that. This is going to be one of those to see kind of what that looks like. I mean, Stanford is going to really try to run you off the 3-point line and not let you get up 3-point shots too. So it's like, all right, well, Carolina was just fine with that and just feasted at the rim.
Mm-hmm.
Do we just go in there and punish them with Cam and Pat? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that too, especially if Okpara doesn't play. I mean, you're really at an advantage down there, so you hope to eat there. And obviously, this is a game too where Slim can just completely change the entire fabric of a game if he comes out and starts to do what he was doing, against Cal. I mean, it just changes things at a level that I don't think anyone else on the roster really can. And so, I mean, I expect to win. Do I expect to cover? No, probably not. If the line's going to be 10, that seems pretty steep. I would think it would be pretty close. If he doesn't play again, that might change that a little bit for me. But yeah, I mean, they take care of the ball. They don't, we like to force steals. They don't. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Well, one of the things I think, obviously we talked about the late tip on the first game. Well, now they're out there for a couple of days. Your body's adjusted to the time difference, right? And then I think the tip Saturday's at 6. So it's really like a 3 o'clock. No real different than playing an early Saturday game on the East Coast either.
Sure. Yeah. Maybe like you said. Yeah. So that mid-afternoon Saturday. Yeah. Raul, where are you at with it?
Yeah. I mean, I think we can squeak it out, but I would definitely not be surprised by a loss. 10 points feels a little bit steep to me. I think it'd be, if we win, it's going to be more like a 6-7 point kind of a little bit of a nail biter there. So yeah, but going up in the league 6-0 and getting that road trip out of the way and having a week off would be certainly a nice thing there, because we don't play until the following Saturday, right? I believe.
Yeah. We play Wake.
Wake.
When we get back home, I'll be at the game. Yeah, we'll all be at the game. Yeah, I mean, for Stanford though, it's a part of me is looking at this, and I don't want to jinx it, but it's like, how impressive, and the narrative changes, then how impressive does it become for Stanford to have, I know they dropped the game at the grossest game you could ever probably see right before New Year's to Notre Dame at home, 47-40. Ugh, just absolute filth. But since then, if they did pull that out, you're talking 4 of their last 5. They've beaten Louisville, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, and Duke, with the one loss being Virginia.
And Virginia's playing better than anybody right now. So it's like, that's not even a bad loss.
That's hella impressive if Stanford can pull that out. Now, on the other hand, for Duke, if they pull it out, man, like we were talking about that narrative a little bit, Duke goes on this trip and does that, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there at 6-0 in the conference. You got Wake Forest in a week at home. You feel good about coming back home and dealing with that. Louisville comes in, but I think you're at home. Duke all of a sudden becomes in a really, really, really good spot. The driver's seat for the to take the conference, to get to win the conference again outright. So cart before the horse, all that stuff. You go out there and take a loss, and everything changes again. But in a good spot, man, in a good spot, and played last night with the edge, the defense. I thought against SMU it wasn't terrible. John was pissed in the presser, clearly. Yep. So like last night, the defense was at a level that if we can start to get there and figure out how we can find a little bit of both worlds a little bit, which is really what allowed, again, not to compare it, but that's what allowed last year to really start to blossom. Like once both things started to really click.
Yeah, because ironically,
I'd be okay with us, playing games where we're scoring in the 70s if we're able to hold teams to 60s, right? Like we don't have to score 80, win games 87-83 or anything like that. Just find that mix of defense and offense. It doesn't have to be amazing on either of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, because I feel like we were actually more dominant earlier in the year when our offense wasn't really clicking, because the defense was something truly elite that we could hang our hat on. Whereas when we went to a more offense-oriented approach, kind of starting with Lipscomb and stuff, it's like we're having to eke out these games because we're allowing 78, 80 points, right? And that just puts a lot of pressure on your offense to score 85, 90 every night to be able to win these games. But if you are holding teams to 60, that just gives you so much wiggle room. I mean, when you think about the fact that we started the season covering in each of our first 6 games, right? And those were some huge lines in some of those games too. And then since then, we were like, I guess we covered last night, so we've been like 3-8 since then in covering. So the results have definitely not been as good since we kind of moved away from the defensive approach. So I would definitely like to see us get back to that as sort of the fundamental identity of the team, and then you build the offense up slowly from there.
Yeah, and you know, we've talked about it too, and it's John plays this thing at such a long game, right? Like he's always, it's a chess thing that's happening here, and so it's kind of cool to start to pick it apart in real time. But you know, trends are hard to see in real time too, and what he's doing or what the staff are really trying to build and develop, and it's exciting to see. You hope that it continues and we can go out here and get another dub and bring this thing back to Cameron for a week or so and really kind of get this thing rolling a little bit. But fellas, if nothing else, I guess we'll get out of here. We'll probably come back probably Sunday, I would imagine. You know, review the road trip a little bit. Hopefully we got some good stuff to talk about, and then get ready for Wake Forest. So yeah, in the meantime, we appreciate you all. So rate, review, subscribe. You can email us, TheDevilsDenPod@gmail.com. You can find us on X/Twitter @DevilsDenPod247. Keep the faces strong and the verb high. Go Duke.